It seems to me that there's kind of two models of secularism. In my mind, there's kind of the Canadian, British, American model of secularism, where in theory, the state does not favor any one religion, but the state is not anti-religion either per se. In theory, they're not anti-religion per se. And then there's the French model of secularism, which we all know. French model of secularism is more anti-religion. You know what I mean? And that's like, we can barely tolerate your religion. Just keep it in your church. We'll barely tolerate your religion, but keep it in the mosque, keep it in the synagogue. Don't bring it to work, right? And when I compare these two models of secularism, I think that the Canadian model is better or more healthy. And what I mean by that, I'll explain what I mean by that, is that I think it's far nicer. I would like to believe that I can get along with my Jewish colleague and my Christian colleague and my Sikh colleague without them having to pretend that they're not Sikh and they're not Jewish and they're not Christian. I mean, that's a pretty sad commentary if you think about it. The French model of secularism is that I can get along with my Christian coworkers and my Jewish coworkers and my Hindu coworkers if they pretend not to be Jewish at the office, if they pretend not to be Hindu, if they pretend not to be Christian. Just hide that cross. Don't wear that cross. I don't want to see it. And I'll hide my Islam, and then we can get along. That's kind of a sad, in my mind, that's kind of a sad commentary or a sad way of approaching it. Why can't I get along with my Christian coworker and he wears his cross and I have my beard and I pray at work? So at least in English Canada, this is the model of secularism that we have, in theory. And so I think we should be thankful. You guys are in English Canada as well too. So I think we fare better, and we have more freedom than, let's say, the Muslims in France, or for that matter, in French Canada. Because in Quebec, as you guys know, it's different, right? Like wearing the hijab in provincial government buildings, that to my knowledge is not allowed. Or for a Muslim teacher to wear the hijab in a public school in Quebec, from what I understand, this is no longer allowed. So they are following basically their homeland, right? They are following the French model of secularism. So I think we are generally, we're generally fortunate, I think, to be in English Canada. Brothers, we just have to develop a bit more of a thicker skin, just a bit more of a thicker skin. Okay, so my coworker is looking at me funny. Okay, so what? Okay, so I'm praying in the park. By the way, I tried that in France, and sometimes they'll stop you. They'll stop you praying in public. Yeah, but think about it. In Canada, what a blessing. You can be at the park. It's a picnic in the summertime. And you can drop what you're doing and you can pray Salah. You can be at Niagara Falls and you can drop what you're doing and pray Salah. Just don't block the walkway, right? And so what if somebody looks at you funny, man? We just have to develop a thicker skin. I mean, I always say, and again, I don't mean this in a condescending way or to put anyone down, but I'm just using other examples. Like, there are people out there that they don't give 2 cents about what you think about them. They don't care about what we think about them. There's people out there on the street who have green hair. They've dyed their hair green. Honestly, do they care what you think about their green hair? Do they care what I think about their green hair? There's men holding hands. There's guys with rings through their noses and through their eyelashes and this and that. They don't care what we think about them. So if we're doing something good, which is keeping your beard and praying at work when it's prayer time, not going to that Christmas party where they're serving alcohol. If we're doing what is good, morally good, why should we be so concerned about somebody looking at us funny? So I'm hoping that with the young generation, and especially, inshallah, in the second and third generation of Canadian Muslims, we won't be as insecure as perhaps the first generation of Muslim immigrants was.
That's true, mashallah. I think it's very true what you're saying, because I think it's also if you develop a thicker skin and pray in public when we need to, it also kind of brings up people's curiosity, because sometimes people are a bit curious, they want to learn more about us, and in a way that's also kind of dawah. So by doing these things in
yes, on that public, point, Haydar, just for your information, Haydar, he always wears that cap well, like even at school, basically everywhere I see him. So I wanted to ask Haydar, has someone ever asked you like, why are you wearing that?
Yeah, plenty of times actually, and like it brings up a really good conversation amongst like my colleagues, my friends, and we have a like interreligious discussion, and it's really nice. It opens up a nice conversation. Also helps like my friends to also accept me a bit more whenever I need to, reject their invitations to a party or to an alcohol, and it helps a lot when it makes them understand a bit more, because they kind of already know, like it's not like unexpected, like I don't hide it. But yeah, like I said earlier, it's like if we do these more stuff in more like publicly, it's also kind of like a way for us to do dawah, because it helps people see that we're disciplined in a way, or these are like our way of life, and if they're curious, it might bring up a really good discussion amongst your friends and peers.
Yeah, no, and that's a wonderful thing. So unfortunately for me, it's part-time, part-time kufi cap. But especially when I have short hair, I like to wear it. And as my hair grows longer, it's a bit more difficult for me. But no, that's a beautiful thing, because you can be doing dawah, 24/7 all the time. Every time you hold a door open for an old lady, Haydar, you are creating a good impression about Muslims, right?
Yeah.
Whereas if I'm not wearing the cap or the topi or the kufi cap, I'm holding the door open for the old lady. She doesn't necessarily know that I'm a Muslim. You see what I mean? So I think it's a very positive thing to be visually Muslim in that way, because every time you do a good thing, every time you, I don't know, help someone cross the street or something like this, you are doing like an indirect passive dawah. And the other thing is, it makes you expect more from yourself too. I don't know if you've noticed that.
Yeah, I do that. I primarily wear it because of that. So.
Yeah, exactly. Like on Jummah, like when I wear it, even on the way to the mosque, and then after the mosque, I might go grocery shopping. I still have my topi or my prayer cap on, and I expect more from myself. Like I know that, like I should be even extra courteous right now, because I'm representing not just myself, I'm representing like all Muslim men right now in this moment, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's why I hold such a high regard for like sisters who have the courage and bravery to wear their hijabis every day, because they do it like 24/7 longer than like we could ever do. So
yeah. So it's kind of like it's also indirectly a sign of solidarity with our sisters as well too. Exactly. When you walk into do you have a subway train? I mean, in Calgary, subway system.
Train. Yeah.
So if you walk into a subway train or car, and there's a Muslim hijabi there, this helps her feel a little bit more secure as well too, knowing that, this is a Muslim man in the same subway car. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.